chop all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night
vVv gaming.
of Wednesday Night Starcraft is getting underway. A bonus game between DaiSuki versus RuFF, a Terran versus Zerg, and as we always mention, RuFF likes to apply early pressure in the lactose variety, as some may like to say. Well, I don't know. Perhaps RuFF is like, you know what? I hear Asians don't like lactose or are lactose intolerant. Perhaps this will work against them, and we'll see whether or not DaiSuki likes a nice ice cream cone or pizza once in a while, as RuFF spawns as the blue Terran player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. On the top right, it is going to be DaiSuki, and I'll try and stop with the cheese jokes.
Asians are lactose intolerant. There is a lot of cheese on the Korean server, so I'm not sure they're serving it to each other quite a bit.
Yeah, they are exactly doing that. We'll see what's going to happen here. It is going to be full cross spawns here on Shakuras, and I don't know what to make of this matchup and this map. Most likely, I was assuming that RuFF most likely DaiSuki thumbs down Zelnaga Caverns, and now DaiSuki with a map like this, if he does try to go into Crazy Reaper, I'm not quite sure if that would be really that successful on a map where there are cliffs all over the place, and whenever you jump up onto the cliff, you're pretty much on creep already, and Zerglings can really support you.
Yeah, and just watching RuFF here constantly, he's got these nice mineral duos on the close mineral patches. He doesn't mind from the far ones quite so much. He's doing his best to keep everything on those close mineral patches, and that just allows his income to be that much better, especially in the early game. It can really help out in any sort of timings that you have. You're able to make that barracks maybe 5 seconds faster, or and then after the barracks, you're able to make the reactor 10 seconds faster, and little things like that can start to add up. We see the top players spending their early game APM trying to set up those mineral duos, so it's fun to see players do that.
Yeah, I've said it in the past, but not in that recently, where StarCraft is really a game of seconds. You're trying to get like a second advantage, then perhaps that second advantage turns into a 5-second advantage, a 5-second advantage turns into a 10-second advantage, and then you use that advantage and you continue to press that advantage until it translates into an actual victory. So far, RuFF trying to mine from those closer mineral patches, perhaps he was able to get a little bit more resources, and spending that necessary APM, spending that focus when he has that time, and that has the time available to him, since he's not going to be microing much of anything else.
And DaiSuki is yet to take a gas. I guess it would be a little bit early to take it, but you definitely want to take a gas if you expect any sort of early pressure, mid-game pressure. You want to have speed to get a decent surround on those Marines, so that they can't just infinitely kite your slow lings. We do have RuFF adding double bunkers here, so I'm not sure whether this is going to be a bit of a fake out. He's got one Marine who's about to make it down here, and we'll see DaiSuki trying to pull a lot of drones, and he's going to have to do a nice job splitting these drones between SCVs and between Marines. He doesn't want either of these bunkers to finish. One SCV is still very low. The other one might actually finish this bunker, and if a Marine can get in there, and one is about to get to this base, no, he's got the SCV with 10 HP. He needs to finish the bunker. No, he doesn't get it. So very close there. RuFF has that shut down, and DaiSuki is able to defend.
Yeah, so DaiSuki looking very, very strong there, and able to handle that double bunker placement. I would have liked to have perhaps seen the bunkers placed in a position where there wasn't as much surface area side by side next to each other. Next to the extractor may have been a better position, not exposing the SCV to the harsh claws of a Zergling. But now RuFF perhaps going to play a little bit more traditionally and set up supply depots. But this is just, I don't know about you, but this is just begging for a bust. What do you think?
Yeah, he just got the gas a little bit late, though. He's about to get his 100 gas, and so you want to start speed and have enough for a Baneling nest. So yeah, we'll see. It looks like a bunker will go down, and I'm not sure. It doesn't have, it's not flush right up against the supply depot, so I'm not sure whether it's going to take Baneling damage if a bust does come. But talking about that rush before, I think that bunker had basically 1 second, maybe 2 seconds of build time left on it, and he had a second SCV there with 10 HP. I think one of those bunkers could have finished, and there was a Marine there that could have hopped in, and I think the game definitely would have changed if that bunker finished.
Yeah, well, at the most, I think Zerg players have really learned how to deal with that early Marine bunker. DaiSuki would have pulled back. He would have trained the Queen. The Queen would have gotten in position. The Queen would have just then walked towards the bunker, and the Queen would have been taking all the damage as the Zerglings would have been able to get a good surround and clean up. And it's really Zerg players just figuring out how to handle a lot of the early pressure that Terran players have been working on. And now it's really rare whenever you see a bunker rush really be effective that early in the game.
Oh, a second bunker being added by RuFF, so he's playing sort of in the dark here. He doesn't know whether any big bust is coming, and he wants to make sure. Bunkers are pretty free, so you're able to just place those down and reap the minerals out of those later in the game if you want. So if he's making more and more Marines, might as well put a home down for him.
Yeah, RuFF already having his third base up and running,
Yeah,
upgrading to an orbital command. So RuFF is going to have those 3 all nice orbital commands in 3 separate mineral patch locations, and it will be really up to DaiSuki to apply pressure. But so far, DaiSuki has been really playing that macro style, really going, you know what, I can out macro you since I'm on more bases, but that's not going to be the case. But then again, DaiSuki does have a nice drone advantage, 52 drones versus 29 SCVs. I'm not, I think the mules account for maybe 3 or maybe 5 SCVs each, so it does even things out just a little bit as we are now getting the tier 2, and DaiSuki has no real tier 2 tech options just quite yet.
Yeah, he's been working off 1 gas for a little while. He did get up to second, but it's not saturated. And like you said, RuFF is on these quick 3 bases, and he's relatively safe here. Again, he has yet to really scout anything. He doesn't know that DaiSuki has gotten up his own third, doesn't know that DaiSuki has lair, so he's not really dictating the pace of the game like I thought he might. Instead, playing more of a macro game. And DaiSuki sends a roach to scout the front door of RuFF, sees all these bunkers, and he's got to be wondering what's behind this. And it looks like, oh, it's a lot of starports.
All right. At this point, perhaps he saw the battlecruiser video as well. Three base. Well,
yes.
you really can't build that many battlecruisers off of 3 bases. If you're going to have 4 starports,
you can when you have 1,200 gas saved up, Kurta.
well, yeah, okay. And what is this? He's also going for Terran building armor and missile turrets. So it looks like he's expecting a lot of Mutalisks. I would also, if he also got autosec tracking, that would be interesting, as an Overseer quickly spots the quad starport, and there's also a changeling in the field. And you can see now mass tech labs coming in, and this may actually be, maybe mass banshees without cloak, as we still don't see a fusion core coming in, and it's going to be countered by a Hydralisk Den.
Yeah, I think it has to be the battle cruisers, though. I mean, he's got so much gas. Why would you have 1,700 gas? And you can't spend all that on off 3 bases.
All right, well, he has a lot of gas because he's going Mass Raven.
Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Off of this many bases, you can harvest about 200 gas per base, 250 gas per base. So 4 starports needs about 800 gas when you have the surplus. But he is also going into the Corvid reactor, and he's constantly supply blocking himself. And who knew that Mass Raven could look so much fun?
This game not so refined, or this strategy not so refined yet from RuFF, missing a few important things like supply depots. It's really going to hamper his being able to spend all that gas. But yeah, I think he is coming out with another starport, decides that he needs 5, and he's basically defending here with just a few Marines and then a ton of missile turrets spread around.
All right, so we are going into the Corvid reactor. I am a bit surprised that we don't have Seeker Missile being researched, as Seeker Missile is highly effective against Hydralisk, just not on creep.
Later.
That can come a little bit later. We're also getting into the auto-sec tracking, durable materials. So this is like every upgrade that Terran never gets all in one game. Oh, I am so confused.
Well, I mean, important upgrades, durable materials, extended time on auto turrets, and seeker missiles, point defense, and The point defense intercepts Hydro attacks, though, right? So he should be pretty good against Hydras.
The problem with Hydro attacks is that they attack so attack so quickly that it kind of gets nullified, and it's like, well, they can intercept 20 Hydralisk attacks. That means in 1.5 or 1.6 seconds, if he has 10 Hydralisks, they'll be out of energy. We'll see what's going to happen. Right now, the Ravens are still being added. 6 Ravens on the field, soon to be 11 Ravens. And this was one of the strategies that I had actually thought Terran players may try to experiment with. Terran players don't have to use Ravens in order to trade energy for units, similar to how Infestors can do it, similar to how High Templars can do it. But Ravens really haven't been used that effectively as of late, since the year and a half, as we now see the destructible rocks now getting destroyed. We are going to have a lot of auto turrets, but the auto turrets are not going to really be able to do all too much. Perhaps some point defense drones could come in, but this is not looking good. This is where Seeker Missile really needs to be added. It is going to be another 110 seconds or so before that is done.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to maybe trade a base for a base here, as we do have auto turrets going down. Going to be taking down the 4th of DaiSuki if they are in range, but at the same time, RuFF, nope, he's just going to lift up and take his orbital command and go home. So he's going to try to keep these Ravens alive, and he's going to send them along the very southern portion of this map. Going to lose a lot of SCVs, and it's definitely going to cut into his mining time. He's actually been able to use all of that gas that he had banked up, so Ravens will do that, I suppose, at 200 gas apiece, but he's got 5 more Ravens out. He's got 11 already, so it's about to be 16 Ravens. He hasn't lost one yet, and as they start banking more and more energy, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, it is going to be scary. You can see that siege tanks are really going to be needed in order to defend against any serious attacks. This is going to be rather dangerous, as RuFF is going into a lot of command centers. DaiSuki already at 200 food nearly at the 16-minute mark in this game, and RuFF unsieges his tanks at just the wrong time. This is not good.
Yeah, that is not good. You definitely want those big early attacks on the roaches to try to soften them up a little bit, as we do have auto turrets going down as well, and I think DaiSuki throwing away a lot of units here. Now he's going to try to scoot his way away from the siege tanks out of range. There's a lot of infested Terran, and this is going to take down, I believe, at least the natural as well. We do have RuFF defending on the high ground, and it's going to be very difficult for DaiSuki to break. He does have the Overseer on the high ground. He's thrown down some changelings, so he does have high ground sight, and these Hydras trying to focus down those tanks best they can. The last tank about to go down, and it looks like DaiSuki might win it right here.
Yeah, Mass Raven apparently doesn't beat Mass Infestors. Siege tanks are trying to blast back off. Once more, DaiSuki running off of 4 bases compared to, I guess RuFF technically does have 4 bases as well, as the units are going to be forced to retreat. This planetary fortress will not be completed. Orbital Command now going to be trying to call in more mules at the 6 o'clock location, as the energy is going to be slowly but surely replenished on all of those Ravens. And RuFF perhaps is going to drop in more auto turrets again to destroy another hatchery.
Yeah, I think RuFF's big problem right now is he just doesn't have the production to spend his minerals. Look, he has 4,000 minerals. If he had thrown down 8 to 10 barracks, he maybe could have come out and done a swap over to MMM. His upgrades would have been way later than they needed to be, and probably not as effective against roaches. But he's just got nothing to dump minerals into. I think maybe he needs to come out with some Banshees and Cloak and start really multi-prong harassing in many different spots to try to take advantage of the fact that he's got air superiority.
Yeah, the Ravens in the air still going to cause some problems. And what's going to be funny about this is that RuFF knows that I don't think there's a Spire out. A Spire now finally being added. So if RuFF decided to like play it cute, he could try to repair all of his Ravens, lift off an orbital command into the top left-hand side of the map, and say, okay, I challenge you to try to take down my orbital command. And knowing that he has a whole bunch of Seeker missiles saved up on these 16 Ravens.
Yeah, and once again, supply blocked, as he did lose a lot of depots that were walling off there. So he's got 6 on the way. Now comes the Infernal Pre-Igniter. So he's going to do his best to do, it looks like a Blue Flame Hellion transition, but as long as DaiSuki keeps up with the roaches and this constant pressure, RuFF is not going to have time to do that swap, and it's not going to be effective.
Yeah, I think RuFF really needs to perhaps figure out if he wants to use auto turrets or Seeker missiles. I haven't seen a single Seeker missile And I think the Seeker Missile would have been infinitely much more effective now. Siege tanks are back. Roaches are now trying to walk up that ramp. Siege tank is backing off over here. SCVs, Ravens, more auto turrets coming in. The auto turrets dealing 8 damage per attack. Infested Terrans now spawning in as well. A fungal growth hits many of these Ravens, and I think chain fungal growth may be causing a problem. Another fungal growth hitting there, and now so much damage will be dealt as all the units once again try to fly away.
That is a big ball of Zerg inside the Terran base, and RuFF can't try hard for too much longer. RuFF always has some sort of comment whenever he loses a game. I think that was one of the more cordial comments that he's had, but it's typically not as nice as that one. But he's going to have to give the GG in just a moment here, and who knew that Hydras are good against Terran? Yeah.
Hydra is good against, I guess, Mass Raven at the very least. And I really just think if he had gotten those Seeker missiles, 2 to 3 very, very well-placed Seeker missiles would have absolutely destroyed many of that, that Zerg Bio Ball making its way forward.
Yeah, it basically is the Zerg Bio Ball. It's pretty high DPS with those Hydras, but they don't have a lot of HP, and you either need tanks, and RuFF just didn't have enough tanks to sort of deal with it. And now he's saying that DaiSuki knew this build from practice, and that's why he was able to counter it. But hey, RuFF needs to be able to deal with any sort of builds with these builds he tries.
All right, so I believe that was Game 6. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Wait, hold on. Are we done?